Well, it's been a while since the last episode, and a lot has happened in the 3 months leading up to the final two Champions League phase matches. As much as things have gone well on the pitch, we are starting to develop some problems off the pitch. Hello and welcome back to Unemployed to Legend Club 4 episode 13 with Liverpool. My name is Craig, and coming up on today's episode we have the away tie in the Champions League against Bayern Munich, and depending on how that game goes we may still be coming back for Marseille. If not, then we'll come back for a Premier League match. And I say that because since you were last with me, form has been very, very good since, when was the last episode? All the way in September, wasn't it? So 3.5 months, a lot of victories on the board in the Premier League and Champions League, and inexplicably the League Cup as well, the Carabao Cup, to the point we are actually in the Carabao Cup final. I will not be showing that this time around. That's not the main focus of this season. And that's despite the fact that I sent out youngsters for all those cup matches. And okay, against Arsenal, we sent out a few more first teamers, so that way we didn't get embarrassed, and we embarrassed them. 7-2 home victory. I don't know where that came from. Ronaldo decided to go on a mad one and score 4 goals that game, so fantastic. A League Cup final for me to enjoy offline. Otherwise, Champions League wise, we have actually been racking up a lot of victories to the point we are almost in to the knockout rounds, the round of 16 that is. We've already guaranteed top 24. Avoid a defeat against Bayern Munich in our game today, who are sitting in 9th, and we effectively will guarantee top 8, which means if we do that against Bayern Munich, I will bring this video back for the next Premier League match against Bournemouth. Otherwise, we'll be back for the final game against Marseille. Marseille currently sitting in 30th place. Yep, you can see them just behind my head. They've got 4 points, and they're going to be desperate to try and catch the likes of Mönchengladbach and Bodo Glimt to get into the top 24. But all we can do is worry about ourselves. And as much as I've mentioned, all the stuff on the pitch is going fairly well, despite a few dodgy results in the Premier League recently, like a 4-1 away loss against Leeds United. I have no idea what happened there. And then we beat Arsenal in the next game 2-0 in the Premier League. In fact, so I'll just show you the Premier League table. We are currently sitting top of it, 5 points clear of Man City and Arsenal. But it's just so many varied results going around. I honestly don't know what to actually predict for the Premier League. Like I said, we got thrashed by Leeds, but we also thrashed Leeds earlier this season, so we'll see how it all plays out. As long as we're in the top 4, I'm actually quite happy. And as it stands, if we win the Premier League again, I will be more than ecstatic for that. And we will probably need to win the Premier League just to get the top prize money available, because off the pitch, we have a few financial issues. Now, I know in the Premier League there is a lot of money swashing about. We're 113 million in debt or overdrawn. In fact, actually we're more than that in debt. We're 300 million pounds in debt, 150 million on the transfer debt, which is all me, granted, I will give you that. But the board at the beginning of January decides to take all my remaining transfer budget away. So all 35 million pounds just went right back into the balance overall. And we only got 7.3 million pounds back because we sold one player. And that player was Levi Colwill. Yes, the man who only arrived in the summer for £4.5 million. Well, he's gone again. 4.6 million, sorry. We bought him for. He went for 7 million, so nice little profit in 6 months. He went to Trabzonspor in Turkey. He's already played 1 game and clearly is enjoying himself over there. A 9.1 on the average rating. Fantastic. But that is off the pitch. Hopefully we can have ourselves a nice deep Champions League run and get ourselves a lot of prize money in the Premier League, and we'll be able to sort the overdraft out. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We just got to try and keep hold of all our players through the rest of January. So this is going to be the 11 that we're going to send out for the match against Bayern Munich. Lotka starts in goal. A back four: Saravia, Borja, Bazera and Siman Jontak, with Stingel at the base of midfield. Lavia and Ricky in midfield ahead of him. Charles de Catalare in attacking midfield, with Louis Carlos and Anderson Luiz, the men up front. In fact, Oh right, that's why we're not playing Charlie Ross. Katinic and Charlie Ross both got themselves suspended, the idiots, for this match. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Matthias Tobar and Cesare Sestari are all injured. I mean, Sestari isn't even registered for the Champions League at the moment. So we've only got 10 substitutes out of 12 instead. First world problems for this Liverpool squad. But the injuries had been piling up over the last month or so. A few players have come back, but we've had so many games in a short span of time. I forgot how bad the English league is for scheduling like this. If we carry on our performance from the last match, yep, that was a 5-0 win against Sheffield United. Let's carry on the good times as much as possible. In fact, the last 2 games we scored 12 goals in both matches. I probably wouldn't expect anything close to that against Bayern Munich. I imagine it'll be a sterner test for us here today, especially as we're actually playing away against Bayern Munich. I completely forgot about that. I didn't even check to see if we were at Anfield or what is that stadium called? Allianz Stadium or something? Allianz Arena? I think so. Luis Carlos is through here. He's rounded the keeper and slowed on in the back of the net. If it's not Charlie Ross, if it's not Ronaldo doing it, it's Luis Carlos. Why not? I think he's playing... No, hang on. No, he is the advanced forward. My bad. He is the advanced forward. Anderson Luiz is the deep line forward. And Carlos bags another one. Fantastic stuff. 1-0. Like I said, if we avoid defeat today, then we will be in the top 8 going into the round of 16 in the Champions League. The main thing with all the finance issues going on at the club at the moment, I've said this before in previous episodes, is because Liverpool were out of the Champions League for that one season. That's how much of a difference in finances there is between Europa League and the Champions League. Because with the Europa League, I checked this actually before this episode, with the Europa League we won the whole thing last season and we made about £23 million off of that. Whereas in the Champions League we've only done the league phase so far, and we haven't even finished the league phase actually, and we've made about £27 million. So it kind of says... Oh, good save there by Marcel Lotka. It just says the gulf in finances between Europa League and Champions League is absolutely stupid. You would rather be in the Champions League every single year. And for a club like Liverpool, they need to be. Because last season, yes, we won the Europa League. As I've just noticed, Savavio is very tired. And Bayern Munich have a free kick just outside the area. We all know where this is going. But for a club like Liverpool, good save by Lotka. And yeah, we were in the Europa League and we were paying Champions League wages and paying Champions League transfer fees as well. Obviously, Charles de Ketelaere, the biggest example, £150 million. And I know we bought Simon Juntak for 147 million this past summer, but at least we were back in the Champions League, which was the biggest difference for us. Right, half time, 1-0 up. In fact, they're looking very motivated and inspired by that, so let's just leave it alone as much as possible. But it does emphasise the fact that we need to have a deep Champions League run, because I've had a look at the prize money for the rest of the Champions League, like the knockout rounds. If we do go on and win the whole thing, then it will be, I think, 30 to 40 million pounds extra that we would, in fact, no, about 45 million pounds extra. Which is money that we could absolutely do with, because otherwise our overdraft is going to cause severe issues for any future transfer fees. Now, of course, that doesn't matter if we do end up winning the Champions League this season. But obviously, that's why matches such as this are very important, to see if we are good enough to win the Champions League. And, oh my God, just cleared off the line. That almost went against us. Right, we need to make some substitutions, quite a few tired legs. So, Savavia is going to go off for Manuel Silva. And who have we got for right back? Oh, Amaral. Actually, that's quite nice to have a lot of defensive options. Simon Juntak not having a great game, actually. Just behind my head, but he's on like a 6.5. Lavia, actually, yeah, Lavia needs to come off. So where is Adam Wharton? That's absolutely fine. Stingel needs to come off, but this is the sort of place I'd rather have Katinic available. Debola can play there, apparently. As can Migliorini. Interesting. We'll see if, in fact, Stingel is the playmaker. Or should we put, you know what, I think we'll put Stingel as an anchor for the moment. Just have him sit in front of that back four. Just try and give it some more protection, if possible. Well done by Catalari there. Luis Carlos taking the ball forward. He's got quite a few helpers with him. Silva. Carlos. Oh, lovely interplay, and it's absolutely beautiful football. Absolutely beautiful football. As soon as we got the ball, you just see us lumping it. Not lumping it. You see us just cannoning forward here. Look at this. Hang on. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players. Jesus. Oh, God. 7 players just bombed it forwards. Oh, Stingel even got forward. Even as an anchor, he still got forward and laid off a pass to CDK. Beautiful stuff. Now, if Stingel can just sit in front of that back four and just stay there, because he is tired, he can rest at the weekend against Bournemouth. That's absolutely fine. And I think we have another couple of substitutions, actually. So, Ricky can come off for Axel Ferrer. And do you know what? We will save that final substitution for the final 10 minutes. There's no point going mad now. CDK. Anderson Luiz. He's got a couple more options ahead of him, but he's just giving the ball away because he didn't want to hold it up. He's normally better than that. Actually, we've got our fullback. Okay, that's the problem. I left my fullback on attack. That's probably why. That is probably why. Right, I have just made that change. So, who is on the left actually? Manuel Silva. He's now on a more support duty, so hopefully that will just allow him to get back a little bit quicker. Well, he'll be deeper, definitely. Stingel. Trying to play it over. There is Ferrer, but Ferrer for some reason just didn't knock the ball down towards one of our own players. I hate the match engine doing that. It doesn't make your players look intelligent, does it? Actually, speaking of match engine and intelligence... Wait. Let's Marcel Lotka get the ball out here. Get rid of it. Thank you very much. I am nervous about our goalkeepers recently, as Carlos is through here. Actually, no, forget it. Ferrer! Ball wasn't even going in anyway. I can't even say it was off the line. But our goalkeepers have been making a few mistakes recently. And that's not just Lotka, but that is also Dennis Simon as well. Oh my god, Stingel is dead. Right. Debola is going to have to go on. And that's it, I think. Yeah, I can actually count. We've made 5 substitutions. But both our keepers have made howlers recently, which has not pleased me. So we've got ourselves a bit of a goalkeeper problem at the moment. But unless we sell one for a good price, we're not going to be able to replace them, which is a bit of a shame. Luckily, it hasn't mattered too much in this game. We've got the victory away at Bayern Munich. That is priceless. Yeah, they out-XG'd us, but the scoreline was what matters here. We have secured top 8. Excellent stuff. So, we do not need to come back for the Marseille match. Instead, we're going to come back for... In fact, have we qualified? Yeah, we've qualified. There's only one match left, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, it will be the Bournemouth match that we are going to come back for the sake of time. I'm not going to go all the way through to Manchester United. Especially, actually, as Man U, I think they're still sitting in mid-table in the Premier League. Let's just have a quick look. Yeah, they're still sitting in mid-table, so for the sake of time, Bournemouth is up next. Can I just alert everybody to the fact that Southampton, of all teams, is in the top 4? We've got a lot to look forward to in the next 10 years if you've got Southampton up there. West Ham in 5th. Tottenham and Manchester United in mid-table. What's not to love? So we're going to go and actually watch a Premier League match for the first time since I think the opening day of the season. It's been the longest time in this series without a league game. So this is what we're going to be lining up with. Lotka is still in goal. A back four of Amaral, Borja, Becerra and Simon Jontak, with Katinic playing in front of them. Wharton and Lavia ahead of Katinic, with De Catalare in attacking midfield. Ronaldo and Anderson Luiz are the 2 men up front. Of course, Ronaldo has been in some very, very good form this season. He's only played like 21 times, starting only 10 games. But as you can see, in the recent games that he has played, minus the Arsenal game, that was in the League Cup, no one cares. He's been in some very good form. 5 goals in his last 2 matches. Yes, he didn't play against Bayern Munich because I'm rotating the squad. Speaking of rotating the squad, obviously Marcus Stingel, he's being given a break for this match after basically playing his heart out against Bayern Munich. But he came up in the newsfeed. he's now a 4-star player. Now I know that means he's on form effectively, but the fact that this is the same guy who we brought over from Lons, and even before Lons we found him at Kaiserslautern. Let me be exact here, my director of football at Lons found him at Kaiserslautern. And he's come all this way, he's come this far, and now he's turning into the world-class player that I believed he would become. He's capped by Germany, he's capped by them 6 times all this season. He's having, effectively, his breakout season that I was waiting for, as, oh, that's an opportunity just off the line. We go again with Katinic, playing it back to Siman, and the highlight just fizzles out. Early good signs, though, from our boys. Bournemouth are down in mid-table or in the relegation zone, but this is the Premier League. So many teams just seem to be taking points off of each other. I think Hull, who were bottom of the league, took points off Chelsea. They beat Chelsea actually 1 or 2 games ago, which is completely stupid, I know, but it is the curse of the bottom place team as far as Football Manager goes. Right, substitution time. Ronaldo has picked up an injury, so Ross is going to come on. What is the injury? Lower leg. We've had a few of those recently, more specifically to Tobar, who is within 2 weeks of actually coming back. So is TAA and so is Sestari, which is good news because we need the whole squad available as we continue to push for Premier League and Champions League glory. Premier League title, I know we're top of the league, still kind of optional. Champions League is the one that I want the most. Amaral, I'll take it down, Amaral. You had a little bit of time, man. And the squads, it just feels like they're still very, very tired after all the games. Oh, hang on. I think that's a red card for Bournemouth. Staminkovic is off. And I'm wondering, can we go a bit more attacking? Certainly what we can do is get some more subs going. Nahil Diaz is going to go on. He's going to go to left back. Amaral to right back. Or right back as a wing back. Who else? Ricky can go on for Lavia. And De Catalare can go off for Migliorini. And I think we get one more. Yeah, we actually get one more. So Luis Carlos, not Carlos Luis, can go on up front for Anderson Luis. Fresh legs. And I'm wondering, how have Bournemouth actually lined up? They've gone fairly defensive. We've not encouraged all game. And I've only just clocked, it's still 0-0. How? I would like to know how. Apparently, 10-man OP. So, 0-0 draw. Very disappointing. But this Premier League season is so weird. Yeah, we should have won that match based on the chances we created. But we got the most important result of the day, I feel, and that was against Bayern Munich. We are still top, even if it will be by 3 points. Man U actually won a game for once. Chelsea 2-0, none of the big hitters. West Ham did play. They lost, but they've still got a game in hand on us anyway. Okay. Premier League and Champions League hunt continues. Again, as I said, Premier League, it's important, just as long as we finish in the top 4 effectively. Champions League is the one that we want, and that's the matches that we are going to come back for in the next episode. It will be around March time for the round of 16. If you have enjoyed today's episode, make sure you hit the like button down below and smash the big red subscribe button so you don't miss what will hopefully be a deep run in the Champions League. Not just for the purposes of off the pitch here at the club, but also Champions League glory is what we are all about here. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for your support on the series so far, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode.